Hey,
What? You just missed my dance because you didn't hit record.
well, you always tell me when I click the record button, I have to wait for it to say one because I go. So start over.
And we're back.
Take two.
You have to be exciting, Brad.
I'm trying to be exciting, but with you doing that Forrest Gump crap in the background, what am I supposed to do? You're watching the Vasco Speed and Performance YouTube channel. So, we're out here for day number 2 on the beater bomb, and yesterday we got the down bars, what I would call the down bars.
Yeah, I call them the wrong thing. I call them the strut bars.
Strut bar. I mean, they hold the struts, but whatever, down bars, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
We got those made. That's a lot of fitting and, making sure everything's right, measuring and stuff, so we got that all knocked out.
We showed them how to use the Bentech program because that took a lot of time measuring, plotting out where all the existing stuff was, and that's a lot of time invested. That's going to help us moving forward.
Yep. So sometimes you got to move slow to make the in progress go faster. So, but let me show you where we're at on the car. So I'll turn the camera around. Okay. So we have this big long tube in here. This is 1 5/8 chromoly, and we have a fixture that goes in the rear end. And so we are going to slide that into the rear end, and then this will go into main caps that will hold it into the engine. So these will slide on like this, and you'll bolt them onto the engine, and that'll get your angle. So we were going to work on putting tubes from the strut cups to here, but we figured we would hold off. And the reason being is we want to get the mid plate put in so that we know where the motor plate's going to go, so that we don't make these bars interfere with the bars for the motor plate. Be honest, the second reason, besides the fact that it might be a little bit difficult, we thought if we screw it up, then we could just make new. We did say this. This is how we said. If we screw it up, we can at least just make new little ones rather than redoing the whole bar. So,
yeah, you got to remember
So yesterday, towards the end of the day, we worked on making the motor plate hoop, or mid plate hoop, I should say. And so we've got that over on the bench. So we're going to work on getting that welded up, and then we need to get it placed in there, and we're going to have to cut a lot off of the mid plate to get everything in there and get the engine in there. So today's going to be a fun day, but it's going to be a lot of
tedious work.
Yeah, just trying to get the engine in there. And I know we've kind of teased everybody about the engine for a while.
You're going to see what it really is.
You'll see what it is. And
for sure.
Yeah, everybody will know.
But I can always change it.
Yeah.
Brad still knows how to stretch bars, shorten bars, and bubble gum them together. So he can make anything.
So, yeah, so we're going to work on that today. Another thing I thought about doing was showing them some of the cool parts that you're going to be putting on this thing, because we haven't really gone into that. So let's take a look at some of the cool things you're putting on this.
All right.
Okay. So Joey's going for every ounce counts. So he's trying to lose as much weight as possible. So this is a factory Fox body gas pedal, which is, not too bad. So let's see how much it weighs. It weighs 0.84 of a pound. So not too bad. This is his new gas pedal. So this is made by Cameron Johnson, and it is a titanium gas pedal, which it's pretty freaking light. So let's see how light this thing is. 0.33. So you take that and you subtract that from it, just all over the car, all that adds up. So pretty cool, the stuff that he's doing. I mean, this is a really, really cool product, and it's insane how light it is. So just figured I'd show you that. He's also got titanium lower control arms for this thing. He's also got a titanium steering column we're putting in it. He's already got titanium 4-link bars, titanium wishbone. So everything on this thing is getting titanium, it seems like. So I'm really excited to work with some of that material. We're going to be doing a titanium firewall. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. So if you don't subscribe to the channel, make sure you do, because there's going to be some cool titanium stuff coming up. So we are working on making the motor mid-plate hoop. So we had to make sure it would clear the bell housing, and it gets kind of close over here because we had to get crafty and we had to offset everything by a 1/2 inch, but I think it'll work. So we're gonna call it a night and head home and get some good food and hopefully recharge for tomorrow. So we'll pick back up tomorrow. So we worked on this yesterday and got it to this point. This is the mid-plate hoop. So what this is gonna do is hold your mid-plate bracket, but we had to make sure it was gonna clear the bell housing and everything. So they sell kits where you can buy these and do them like this, but we went ahead and just made this one. So this is just 1.25" chromoly tubing, and it's 065 wall. And this here is the same tubing, but we just cut it and we made some washers on the plasma table, welded them to them, and then it gives you a nice like little cup, and then we notch these tubes to it, and then we'll end up notching the bottom of these to 1 5/8", and that's what will go to our frame rails. So, but we're gonna need to get the engine in there and get the mid plate in there and all that stuff, and I'll probably tack this stuff together and try to get it together and get it in the hole, and then you'll end up doing bars from the rest of your cage down to this hoop for your firewall. So, but yeah, just figured show you what we were working on. So let's get to it. Joey's been making progress. So Joey has got the engine of choice in here, and as you all see, it's just another V12.
Right. I was disappointed though that our mock-up one is nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything on it, but yeah.
Maybe this is the prototype after the V12.
Maybe, yeah. So what we've done here is we have the engine block suspended from a chain from the forklift, and he has this 1 5/8" tube, and we've got these 3D printed main cap deals from Matt Moore at Moore Race Chassis, and he's got one that goes into the pinion back there, and you slide it into the pinion and it keeps everything kind of in line. So
yeah, it kind of like self-centers itself.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we are working on trying to get everything squared away on that. But yeah, I think it's turned out pretty good. And the good news is with it in here visually, I don't think if we made these that are going to get in the way, because we're pretty much going to have a bar that goes from here down to there, and then the motor plate will bolt to that. So
yeah, I think we got lucky.
Yeah.
But I can move the motor back some more.
Well, the other thing is, if you left us here and say one day you're like, man, I keep getting beat, and you want to put a big block in it, then this is going to get moved forward.
I know.
So, because it would be kind of cool to make it where you could put either or in there.
Yeah, it's 3 inches. I don't know where the tape measure is. Reach down and grab yourself.
It's right here, dum-dum.
He's going to have to blurt that out.
Why would we blurt that out? You didn't say anything wrong.
3 inches would be right in line with the strut.
But
so then we might end up doing a bar off the inside of the strut down. So nothing's impossible with Brad.
That is true.
So yeah.
Okay.
It kind of looks like it would be right.
Now, curious for the viewers, because they may not know, why do you want to raise the engine up? Why do you not want to just have it as low as possible?
Well, you got to calculate, you know, is it going to hook?
Okay.
The lower your center of gravity, the less likely it is to wheelie.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things you got to take into consideration.
Okay. But one thing that you did specifically say is you said that you wanted the oil pan to be up, right?
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen.
So what?
7.5 inches. Yeah, we're gonna be down there.
How is that pan gonna fit?
We might have to go up. Well, this is why we're looking. This is why we talked that it's gonna be a lot of measuring and.
7.5 inches is a really, really deep oil pan. That's gonna be on the ground.
Yeah. But look at how much clearance we have for an intake.
Yeah. So you put an intake on that thing, you'll have.
I mean, 11 inches technically.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna have to say that intake's shorter than 11 inches.
So you think you're gonna go up with the engine now?
Yeah, probably.
At least to maybe only have like an inch hanging down below the frame, right?
I don't know. That'd be a lot.
You don't even want to have an inch?
No, because you measure your crank center line from the ground. Well, yeah, we're at 12 inches right now, which is pretty normal.
Okay.
Well, not normal for average cars.
Right. Like pickup trucks.
But for a chassis car, 12 inches is pretty normal.
Okay.
Especially since we are bottomed out basically on all of our adjustments. We can raise the crank center line up if we wanted to.
Okay.
But you can never put it down. Well,
right.
Unless you take out our 1-inch spacers here,
right.
But.
Okay.
So, yeah, that is pretty low.
Yeah. But these are the things that if people are wanting to do this at home and they're wanting to try and figure some out, these are the things you got to think about. So yeah. I figured I'd try to document the whole thought process of everything that we're doing. So
yeah, because it's not just slap it in there and
right.
Hope it's good.
I mean, we kind of did just slap it in there.
Well,
but, you know.
But now it's in there and we got to take 10s of 20s of measurements to make sure that's where we want it.
Yeah, and you notice here, the drive shaft loop that we had in here for the shifter and everything, it's nowhere near going to work. So we're going to have to probably cut that out. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that are going to change by doing it this way. But but definitely cool. So, all right, I'll let you get back to doing. I'll get back to welding.
comes off in 3 weeks. Don't worry.
Okay. I don't even know what that is.
Spray paint.
Just paint there both ways.
Developer.
It's anti-rust inhibitor.
That won't work on this thing.
We're trying to spray it right where you're going to be welding later.
Yeah.
That's what you really want.
Okay, so Troy has this fancy 3D scanner. And we're going to attempt to 3D scan this because we were getting our butts kicked by this bar, weren't we?
Mine fits. It may not fit exactly where you wanted it, but
you couldn't adjust that. You probably got my finger in the 3D scan now.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what we get.
Looks
here.
like it's doing pretty decent.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that developer makes a huge difference. Otherwise, it's so reflective, it can't scan it very well.
Yeah, that's why it did so good on my crappy Mustang.
Exactly.
Because there wasn't anything shiny on it.
No, it doesn't like shiny at all.
Well, it should scan the back of this car really good then, because
it'll love that. Yeah.
Is it like rust?
Oh, it loves rust. Yeah. Perfect. That's why I thought this would be a good candidate.
We're in business.
Probably all we need, honestly.
That looks pretty good, Jimmy.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Joey's. I thought you were talking about...
Little long, but
First time for everything.
Ta-da. That's all we need.
Always cut it
There,
short.
we'll see what it does.
Let's do it.
Wish I would have got a little bit more tube over there, but that's all right. We got the shape, so let's not figure it out.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay, so you saw us 3D scan the area, so you can see this is like the down bar and that's the strut cup. So Troy explained to us what we got to do now.
Yeah, so we got done with the scanner, plugged it in, uploaded it, and actually the scan was in like another piece of software, which is right here. So this is the actual scan that the scanner saw, and then we downloaded it and then we uploaded it into Fusion. So Fusion's like the 3D CAD software I use. It's 3D CAD software that you use. Right. So this is a mesh, and what a mesh is, if you zoom in, if you can get it in the camera, it's just a surface, and it's all these little triangles it puts together to make a surface, and it's just a representation of what we're looking at. But this is like dumb information. It doesn't really do anything for us yet, but we can turn it into something we can use. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw a tube where the strut bar is. I'm going to kind of draw a tube where the cup is, and then we're going to actually draw the tube that we're trying to make.
Okay.
So then we're going to use all that, spit it into BendTech, and BendTech's going to cut it for us and then give us the wrappers we need. So hopefully we can actually make a real tube this time.
Okay, cool.
So
well, let's get to work.
Cool.
Filming. Okay.
Okay, so a short 5 minutes later.
It took a little longer than what we were expecting, but it is what it is.
Yeah, this was difficult, but we got to figure it out. So this is our scan. We just got done showing you that, actually. Mm-hmm. So what we added to it, I had to draw some tubes in here. So this is the tube where the strut is. Then we had to draw a tube right here. And then I could actually draw the real tube we're trying to make, which is this guy right here. Mm-hmm. And the reason I had to draw this, this, and this is so we can put it all in BendTech, and BendTech has to know how to cut it here and cut it here. But the mesh is just dumb information. It can't use any of that. So you got to have 3 different tubes so you can cut one out. All right. So like if we turn this off, now you can see our tubes.
Wow.
We made a really weird looking origami tree or something here. So I downloaded that, saved it as a step file.
Okay.
Go into Fusion. Or BendTech, sorry. Yeah. We were in Fusion. Now we're in BendTech. Opened it up. This is why I just opened up. And then you can actually make your cuts. So you can come in here, click this button. This is our tube we're trying to put cuts to. This is where we've been fighting. And then you click this other one and complete it. And there's our copes. See, this is what we've been in all this work.
And we just figured this out the other day.
Yeah. This is so useful.
Yeah,
this is what BendTech is absolutely awesome at.
Yeah.
So I've already done both of these, so you can see the other ones right here too.
Wow. Okay, so now what?
So now we're actually going to cut our chunk of tube extra long, and now we've got wrappers that give us this template. So this one right here, I can come down here, we can hit the details, and it pulls us up. Let's see if we can make this bigger. That's way too small to see, isn't it? There it is.
Yeah.
So that's the profile. So there's one of these for each side now. So now we can print this on a piece of paper at 1:1 scale, stick them on this tube, and it's got marks here, so you line both the copes up. Yep. Otherwise the copes, they'd never be in the right place. Right. So this will line them both up. So now if we stick both these on a piece of tube and we cut it out, it's going to be absolutely, maybe, hopefully perfect.
So let's print this out.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Okay, so this is what BendTech printed out for us. So it's got this little cope on here, and Troy has taped this one on here. So now we need to tape this one on and match it up, right? How far did it say to go off?
It said to separate these two lines by 3/8 of an inch, which is going to have them overlap because this is such a little bitty tube. So we could like Sharpie this side out, and then probably like mark this line, and then we could go back and then like do that one after the fact, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Look how nice it is.
Stick figures are some of the best in the area.
Okay. Now, do you want to mark this line?
Yeah, how are we going to do that? It's going to be kind of tricky because
we can
hit
just
it,
measure.
we can measure it or hit it with a punch and leave a little dot in there or something. And then we would know how much to offset. And we got to put a line in here too because we got to line this up.
Oh yeah, we got to line those up.
As soon as we take this off, we'll lose our reference.
I'm gonna mark it there too.
Yep.
And then let's just measure that distance there. You gotta measure your tape. Sean probably doesn't. Here you go. Right here. I put it on.
Well, I think that's what this other. See, it says 4 9/16
inch.
to end.
It's an inch off.
Okay.
So if I slide this off,
This is an inch also.
I would assume.
Okay, cool. You want to just leave it on the tube?
There you go.
There we go.
Now we know that needs a line. We want to mark it Sharpie an inch.
Oh, like right here? Okay. Cool.
And then this technically is a straight line, so we need one like that. And then this needs to go line up from here, right?
Yeah. Spin around for me. I make it printed just a little bit small, but it's close enough. That'll do the job.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not there yet.
Oh, we're not? I thought we were one.
Oh, did you?
I tried. That's pretty close.
Well,
now you said you got to offset.
so it
3/8.
said these two should be 3/8 of a way. Okay. But I think we should go a little bit further because I don't think they're going to be perfect.
So what do you want to do with that?
Maybe like a half.
So if you're going to do half, is right. Keep going.
Maybe right up
Up there's pretty close.
Okay.
See, Joey should have had his science goggles for this. This is science. Start calling him Bill Nye, the Science Guy. You guys remember that show?
Bill. Get it?
Okay. Now,
Ta-da.
okay. So I should just whack it off there.
Get to whacking.
So after Troy and I spent a little bit of time doing some science and 3D scanning and everything, bada boom! Look at this thing. It looks amazing and it fits really good. The only issue is when I was trying to machine out a little of this, it caught, and when it caught, it put a dent in it. So I know it's the beater bomb.
But people are gonna see it. If we weren't taking the hood off, we probably would have left it.
Yeah, but we can't have that dent, so we're making a new one. So, I mean, we've already made 10 of these today, so why not? What's one more? So, but yeah, we got the other side. We got it all knocked out. So, this thing is looking stellar. Joey's been working on, I tacked these on here for him, but he made these titanium bars, so hopefully they're not too short. But yeah, looking really, really good in here. Okay, so recap for the day. We got a lot done.
Yeah.
This thing started to look like a race car. It used to look like half of a race car, but now it looks
crazy.
like starting to look like a full race car.
There's an engine in there too.
Yeah, there is an engine in there. We got some heads on it. Those are some stalkers. We got a motor plate in there, mid plate in there. We got the mid plate hoop made. We got the front end bars done. We got those titanium lower control arms in there. Look at it. Would you look at it? You got this beautiful rack. This is like the Ferrari of racks right here. That is nice.
It's the aftermarket bolt-ons rack, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It ain't all natural.
Yeah, for sure. This thing looks good. So, long day, but a lot of progress, I would say. But yeah, looking pretty good. So,
we kind of had to pivot in the middle of it, you know, because I didn't bring the headers or anything like that.
Right. I felt like we kind of hit a spot where we were like stopping and we weren't really going to do anything. We're like about ready to go home, and then we kind of just got back from lunch and got fired up. And I feel like we got more done after lunch than we did before. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm glad we did it because...
and we didn't give up.
No. Troy.
We did not.
Troy helped us out. He's our rock star. And you know, honestly, with these, it's one of those things where they were a pain, but when you get them done and they're done somewhat correctly,
it makes you feel good.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I mean, I didn't do anything.
Well, you did it 3 or 4 times.
The team.
You laid the path. Like 3 times in a row, you laid the path of what you wanted us to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, looks cool. But yeah, alrighty.
I'm really glad we got, it feels like we got a lot done.
Yeah, I feel like we've made a lot of progress. So,
I mean,
that's awesome.
We're making moves.
That's what it's about, making moves. So, cool. Okay, so I wanted to take a little bit of time today to go over the cage that's in our shop car. So this is Troy from Henderson Race Shop, and Troy and I got together, what was it, probably...
Last summer to do the car?
Yeah, probably around last summer sometime.
Yeah, sometime.
And so we got together, and he has a lot of technology that I don't have, and he has the brains for a lot of that stuff that I don't have. So, because it takes some brains to do it. So I use Bentech, but he's really good with Fusion 360. So if you use Bentech, you can't take a 3D scan and put it into it. So he had to take the 3D scan, he had to put it into Fusion, he had to design the cage, and then he had to take it from there and export it into Bentech in order to cut it all out and do what we did. So that being said, he's way better when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we talked, and I said, man, I really feel like the Mustang platform is a good platform to do cages with. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So we kind of collaborated on it. And rather than using like a customer as a test mule, he used me as a test mule. So which is good because this car here has the prototype one essentially, and he's already made a second one and getting ready to make a third cage, I believe.
This
so.
week.
Yeah, so I wanted to take some time, have him come down here and go over this with everybody. So if you're interested in a cage, he's going to be offering these cages on his website. Also, we're going to be putting them on our website, so you can either order it from us or you can order it from him, and then they will be shipped directly to you, or you can come pick them up local, however you want to do it. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about what you thought on this. What were your ideas on the cage?
Yeah, well, it turned out fantastic. For the first one, you know, a prototype, you never know where it's going to end up. When I first got into this, you know, I've made cages for a long time. You know, you start out tape measure, you make it by hand, and then you start learning some tools. I kind of picked up Bentech, and then I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, but still there's something missing. You still got to go out and you got to measure stuff. You got to put it in Bentech, and then Bentech tells you how to bend the tubes, and then you go out and you say, okay, did I measure well enough that Bentech's giving me the right results?
Right.
Well, now I came full circle. We got the scanning stuff that's affordable now. We started scanning parts, so I started making parts. And I was like, man, this is great, because now you can like 3D print little jigs, and you know, things are like so much more accessible now in terms of technology.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, what if we could scan the cars and we could start drawing the roll cages in the cars? And there's people out there doing it, right?
Yeah,
but I haven't done it before.
Yeah, for sure.
And I started playing around with it, and then you and I got to talking about how cool it would be, you know, to do the shop car.
Right.
And this was the first one we really did front to back. It was really the first one for me. And we scanned it, I think, this summer sometime. And, you know, we did the whole inside of the car. We did the outside of the car. We're like, let's just get it all and see how it turns out. And then I sat down and spent some time drawing this cage up. And I've got a few cages drawn. And usually you kind of start at the 850 level and work your way up. And we're like, well, you're going 25.2. Let's just go all the way with it.
Right.
And let's just see how it turns out. And, you know, since you put this cage up in here, I've got to kind of take a look and see how it fits in this car, and it fits exactly like the scan. I mean, I could take measurements. I bet everything's within 1/8 to 1/4 inch.
Right.
And so, I mean, that feels really good because I've got hours and hours and hours
right.
into this thing.
Yeah.
Because this is the first one, so you know, it takes some time because we're going to do a lot more cars in the future, not just Mustangs. We're going to do a lot of stuff. We got big plans for this.
We do. Yeah.
I'm really happy so far.
Yeah.
So yeah. I can't wait to see where it
one of the
goes.
cool things also is that this car was scanned. The cage was built at your shop. We went up there, cut all the bars out, and put everything together,
Right.
not knowing if it was going to fit even in the car. Now, we trusted our measurements and trusted the scan and everything, but when it came down to it, putting it up in there was the real test. Right. So it went good. Now we noticed some things that we might tweak a little bit, and he's already adjusted some of those. So on the second cage that he's done, there's some things that have been modified, and we're going to go over that stuff. So let's take a time to look at the cage and go over some of the options and some of the things that make the cages a little bit more unique than what you would get in another cage company that you would buy it from. So
cool. Sounds good.
Okay, this is the shop car. It's just a typical run-of-the-mill notch coupe car. So the cage that we've actually designed, it is the driver enclosure SFI spec for 25.2. Troy's going to be offering these in 850. He's going to be offering them in 25.2. Might maybe even 25.5, just depending on how things go.
Yep. I'm going to have them all different levels.
Okay.
I've got a few other cages right now released, and I started at 850 because that's most of your market, right? Most guys want an 850 cage. And then from there, adding floor structure, adding bars, maybe changing the diameters. It just kind of depends on the SFI spec. But my plan is 850 clear up to 25.2, 25.1, yeah.
Okay, cool. So for me, I do a lot of pre-bent cages at my shop, whereas Troy, I feel like you probably make more cages, I would say.
I've never done a pre-bent.
Okay, yeah, so I do a lot of pre-bent because
you're way smarter than me.
Well, the thing with it is it's efficient for the customer because it's all the thought's been thought out, and you don't have to really think about it as much. And so for you to sit there and to make a cage from scratch, it can take hours and hours and hours. So economically wise, it's smarter to buy just a pre-bent cage. So that's why we're kind of going down this avenue. But he asked me, he was like, what are some things as an installer that you would prefer? And so one of the things that we kind of discussed, and I feel like we both thought this would be a great idea, was whenever you go to put a tube in, if you can etch it, so you can see the etch mark right there of where that tube goes. Also, Troy has gone through and numbered all these bars. So say you build a cage, you send it out to a customer, and they get it and say, this one doesn't fit great. Say it got cut just a little bit wrong. They could say, hey, I need part 10645, and you can remake that, and you can just send them one bar rather than having to redo everything, which is pretty cool.
Every bar has its own part number. That's just my engineering background. I have to label everything.
Right.
So I have a big spreadsheet for every bar and every roll cage I've ever put together.
Okay, so say when somebody orders this cage and they get it, then what would they would have like a list and would say, hey, this bar with this part number goes to this location, or how are you going to do that?
Yeah, so I use, from Fusion, I've already got it drawn in 3D. So I'm making manuals for these based off those assemblies. And it's real easy. So it just balloons it out. It gives you every single part number. I put some outside dimensions, some check dimensions, but you almost don't even need them. That's what's so great about having the saddle locations. Is as long as you know how to make it flat and square, you can put this whole thing together like a giant Legos for big kids. And that's what's really cool.
We literally didn't measure anything. I mean, we put the floor structure on your chassis table and did that, but everything else we just kind of like put it in, and as long as we knew what the lean back degree angle of the main hoop was, everything seemed to just fall together on it. It went really, really smooth. So but yeah, so the saddle locations was one of the big things. Part numbers I thought was really cool. This cage is actually polished, so he's going to offer that as an option. So if you want to get the tubes polished, it is in my eyes, it's worth the money. Because if you go and you're like, oh, I need to add a chassis tab right here, now you got to come out and sand it. But if it's already polished, everything's good. And 9 times out of 10, the spot where you want to add something is in a location that's really hard to sand. Am I not wrong? I mean, it usually is a pain in the butt.
For me, being a welder, it's the inside of the tubes, because we prep all the inside of the tubes too. So we have to deburr the inside of the tubes. We get all that cleaned up, and then we actually touch every fish mouth with a barrel sander, and then we go around and deburr it all. That way you've got a really nice joint.
Right, because the other thing with that is if this, so these are cut with a plasma cutter. When you cut it, the edge of it actually is not, it's almost got like a I don't know.
They call it like a carburizing.
Okay.
So you just knock that off.
So you need to clean that off, because what will happen is that'll get sucked into your weld if you don't. So it makes your welds look prettier there too.
But I mean, it's just like if you cut it with like, the hole saw or anything, I mean, you still got to go in and barrel sand and clean all that stuff, because it still leaves impurities. And if you're doing it right, you want it clean. So
So those are some of the options. One of the other cool things, it's really kind of hard to tell from this angle on the main hoop, but the main hoop has actually got a roll to it. So that bar is rolled to try to fit as tight and contour with the roof. But the one you can really tell on is the windshield bar. So you can tell that curves really, really well.
Yeah, that one's got 12 degrees of roll in it.
12 degrees, okay.
It's a workout for my roller, I can tell you that, but it's worth it. It looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, the way it fits and how it looks up there just looks amazing. So I love this cage. Everything about it turned out really good. A couple of the things, though, we did learn, because this is the prototype.
Yep.
You'll notice how well this A-pillar bar follows the A-pillar. It is amazing. However, it's right here. I want to say it was an inch wider than your pinch welds from here to here. So when you go to drop the cage or drop the car onto the cage, it wouldn't go around it. So I had to take the roof structure out, and I had to take the windshield bar out, and I had to take the dash bar out, and it went in. So my thought is I'm gonna weld all this up minus those items I just discussed, put it up in the car, put those in there, weld them in there, drop it back down, and then weld the top of it, and I think we'll be good. But that's kind of the thought process on that.
Yeah, that was my miss. Because I made all this stuff fit, and I just didn't check that. So I've got 2 versions of the cage already released. So one of them is, we brought this in a little bit.
Okay.
So now the whole thing will slide right into any stock Fox body between the rockers.
Okay.
It's 50, whatever.
I think it's
51 something, whatever that dimension
whatever
is.
the dimension is.
So I put that inside of it. So now it drops right inside of there the way it's supposed to.
Okay.
Now there is another option to where, we've got 2 funny car options also for the funny car cage portion of it, depending if you're going to put a standard seat or a drop-in seat in it, or if you're going to do a containment seat, because it's so much wider.
Right.
And to make that seat fit, you have to make the funny car cage go wider than this rocker area here, where the bar is going to interfere and not drop into place anymore, because the funny car cage is going to be wider. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've got 2 versions. So that means you're going to have to put that portion together inside the car. But if you don't need that, you can weld this whole thing together and just drop the body right over it.
Right. And you can offer it as all these bars are in a box and, or in a pallet, and they pick it up or buy it and have it shipped to them. Or you can offer it as you can weld the floor structure together. You can offer it as everything's welded together and they just drop it in and just weld it to the car.
Oh, I even etch a center line in the main hoop too. That way when you stick it in the car, you can put a laser on it or a plumb bob.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that, and I told you I said, I think it'd be cool if we did that. And it's kind of hard to see it out there, but it is. Yeah. But I was thinking about that, and when I went to go do the parachute mount on this the other day, you'll notice that there's a mark here.
Oh, right.
And that mark there, and that mark there, and it goes back to the main hoop, and that was what I used to line it up. So I have already used it, because I was sitting there thinking, that'd be a cool thing to have.
I was wondering if maybe we should go ahead and kick one in the dash bar too.
I don't think it would be a bad idea. I mean, it's not going to be noticeable. You're never really even going to see it. So if you can use it for purposes like that, why not?
Being an installer, all that stuff helps.
For sure. So, but yeah. Okay, cool. Well, you've already got S10s on your website, and you've got Novas.
Yeah,
and Bel Airs.
S10s, Novas. I'm working on a 3rd gen right now, and I got a pretty healthy list of people that want stuff scanned, and we're going to do cages for. So just as quick as I can freaking rock through them, we're just going to keep working on this stuff.
Heck yeah, I think that'll be awesome. So cool. Well, I'm super impressed with it, and I need to find some time to get this thing back out of here and start welding some bars up. But I think it's going to make really good progress. So I'm really thinking this is going to be an awesome product. So if you guys end up wanting one of these cages, make sure you can either hit us up. We're going to be adding them to our website, or you can go to Troy's website and get them directly from him. But yeah. Really cool products. I think that he's done a lot of R&D and thinking through everything to get everything all worked out. So I think it'll be a great product for everybody. So hey, so that's gonna do it for this episode. We really appreciate everybody coming by. We are shooting for 5,000. We are at 3,200 or 200 something like that. So
we did hit our goal of 2,000.
We beat it
after the first video.
We beat it, which I'm blown away.
What I want to know is where's the 3,000 balloon, because I see the 2,000.
Well, they're in the office. They're in the office. Yeah. Right. So yeah, the 2 is up there still. So I got to get it down, but not a big deal.
Well, we're gonna have a 5 next.
Yeah, we're gonna get a 5. But if we get a 5, I'll make Shelby get the zeros. We're not just gonna do 5K. We'll get the zeros. So, but that being said, appreciate everybody coming by the channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think about this. Also, if you don't follow Joey's channel, go to his channel. If you don't follow Troy's channel, Troy has a channel.
Yeah, I better work on it some more.
Yeah. So he just made a video about he's into gassers. So his dad and him have a gasser, and they went on was it
Six Smokies? Yeah,
Six Smokies. So make sure you check out that video. Pretty cool one. So again, appreciate everybody. So we'll catch you on the next one.